Since 1982, it's been ICTN and the Irving Independent School District joining together for the Game of the Week, high school football. And tonight we've got the Grand Prairie Gophers against the Nimitz Vikings, homecoming for the Vikings. And someone's going to walk out of here with a victory, their first one of the season. Which one will it be? Well, you just have to sit back and relax and find out which one that is. The Gophers coming back over in this district for the first time in ages, John Nilsson. And as you take a look here of the Nimitz Vikings coming onto the field, they're trying to find their identity offensively. They've had a tough time scoring points, only 10 points in the last two ball games. The passing game has been lethargic, the running game ineffective, and Coach Smalls told me before the ball game, he says we just got to be a mindset to where we don't jump off sides. We have to know our assignments. We have to know where we need to be. We've had players wide open, and we couldn't get the ball to them. So it's just a bunch of different elements of this offense that they're trying to find an answer to come out victorious. Now, the Gophers will get the football first. They will be going right to left on our screen. It's a beautiful night for football. I mean, we don't have much wind whatsoever, and it's 94 degrees. Our false fall is over with, unfortunately. Humidity is low. Again, the winds are low, 6 miles an hour, not much there. Not a cloud in the sky. It's gorgeous except for maybe just a tad too warm. But otherwise, John Nelson, just a great night for football. And these two teams that are rich in history of playing each other have taken a long break. And now because of the redistricting, here they are facing each other again.
Yeah, it's 8-6A against 7-6A. Grand Prairie coming off a loss last week to Keller Central, 42-30. The Nimitz Vikings coming off of a loss in Fort Worth at Pascal, 42-7. As Rob said, our season opener on ICTN. I'm ready. Are you?
I'm absolutely ready. I even got here like a couple hours early. I think you slept here last night, didn't you?
Well, somebody comes away with a win tonight. 0-2 against 0-2. As Juan Diaz, a senior, has it teed up. The advancement, it's short. It's a spinner, gathered in at the 13-yard line. Across the 20, 25, running room, 30 and piled up at the 31-yard line for the Grand Prairie Gophers, averaging 22 points a game. On the return, Braylon Smith. We'll see a lot of him tonight, Rob.
Absolutely. Coach Small says they've got to control him. Franklin, Miller, Hernandez, Lozano, and Cooper are the big guys up front. Quarterback is Salas, but Braylon Smith, number one, is Mr. Everything offensively. You've got Green, Nobles, DeLeon, and Geeson are your guys that can either run the football as well as catch the football. So let's see defensively if the guys up front for Nimitz can put a little pressure on Salas there, who comes in, John, with a 55% completion rate and a 92 quarterback rating. Not bad.
Well, the senior had 3 touchdown throws last week in the loss to Keller Central. Out of a broken I formation, handoff over the left side, not much, as Braylon Smith draws a crowd.
Yeah, lost a couple of yards in the process, and that middle part of the defensive line making the stance there, it was Keyshawn Price, 99, who made the play defensively. But you got Reynolds, Gaudian, Pearson, and White are the 4 up front for Nimitz. And then you've got Hill, Castillo, and Holder are your linebackers. And then Woolfolk, Wheeler, Kennedy, and Jackson are the men in the secondary.
The D-line for the Vikes averaging about 240 pounds a man. Trips to the left side on 2nd and a dozen. They scrimmage at the 29-yard line. From the shotgun, Salas going with a hard count, now rolls out, looking right, throwing, and has a receiver a little bit too tall at the 40. In coverage, Brandon Wheeler. And rolling up 3rd and long.
Well, he had his man, he had some time, and that's the positives of having a quarterback that can roll out like that, John, is that it buys you some time offensively, but the Vikings had settled in somewhat. You know, they've got some big guys and some youngsters kind of playing that front 4. You've got Reynolds, who's a sophomore. You got Price, that's a freshman, and in between the two, you've got a couple of seniors there.
Julian Salas, 13 of 26, over 200 yards last week, facing a 3rd and 12 at the 29. Over the middle, picked off at the 33, inside the 20, and knocked down at the 16-yard line.
Well, Castillo with the interception was right there in the lane, in the passing lane. We get our first turnover of the ball game, and the Vikings are in great shape. First down and 10 at the 17-yard line of Grand Prairie.
Carlos Castillo, who was a tight end last year.
Well, basically, they were trying to hit Nobles, threw behind Nobles, and Castillo was there with the interception. Look what I found, and he rambled like a fullback.
So an early break for the Nimitz Vikings. Again, coming off of a loss to Pascal, there's Carlos Castillo, the tight end the last 2 years, really. Linebacker this year for head coach Anthony Small. They scrimmage from the 17. Number 18, Andrew Valencia, is the signal caller. He will hand it off, coming right, tripped up at the 14-yard line. Gain of about 3, maybe a little more, trying to squeeze out more. Darian Contreras.
Xavier Rodriguez, number 10, is the one that made the tackle, and Coach Smalls told me, he goes, there's 2 things we have to do tonight. We have to be present and think about Rodriguez as a linebacker, and then we've got to stop Smith, the running back. Those are their 2 workhorses and their 2 studs, and you can see why Rodriguez is thought of so well that time, coming across from that far side corner. He works the far side linebacker. You see him just to the upper left-hand side there. 2nd and 8.
Not much there, bottled up, trying to move up the middle. He does, and gains about 7 and close to a first down. Nice change of direction for Darian Contreras. The door slammed on the left side, cut it back against the grain, and Contreras very close to a first down, maybe about a half a yard short.
Not a bad little play that time. The Gophers run a 3-4. Rodriguez is like a rover, so you never know where he's going to line up, and I think we have our first timeout, an official's timeout here of the ball game.
Just under 3 minutes deep, and a timeout call as Nimitz will face 3rd and needing about a yard.
We talked about Nimitz and their lack of offense, but they had a little spark plug last year that really ignited this offense at times, and it was really a pleasure to watch. You know, they're coming into the season looking to improve off last year's 1-9 campaign. They were explosive at times a year ago, but, you know, like we said at the beginning, they've only been able to score 10 points through 2 games. Now, last year's leading receiver, Christopher Hernandez, right there, might be just 5'6", but he is a key part of this offensive attack. If they can find him on the loose, and as he returns for a senior season, what can they do offensively?
Here we go, 3rd and short, handoff coming right, first down yardage inside the 5. Did he get inside the pylon?
I think so.
And the Vikings have struck first. Javon Woolfolk on the turnover and cashing in for points.
He just cut the outside edge. Pursuit was not there, and he just used his speed to score the touchdown, the first for the Vikings, and a little life offensively. You got to like that if you're a Vikings fan.
Valencia will hold for Juan Diaz. Good snap, good hold. Extra point attempt is up and through. And the Nimitz Vikings, with 9:32 to go here in the opening period, take an early 7-0 lead.
Didn't take long, John, like a minute and 20 seconds to go from their own 18-yard line, and there's that one missed tackle on the edge. And after that, Javon just used his speed and went into the end zone for the touchdown. From the end zone look, just a basic dive play right, the one missed tackle, and then he turns the corner for the touchdown. Deontay Board, number 12, is a cornerback. He's the one that tried to come up and made the tackle, but Woolfolk just a little too strong on the edge. And these Vikings are on top 7-0 at the 9:32 mark.
32 Letterman returning this year for head coach Anthony Small. 8 starters on offense, 5 on defense to begin this year. But two teams that are winless, Mr. Woolman, they'll be cheering first downs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, somebody breaks through and collects victory number 1 tonight.
Kind of role reversal here in the very, very, very early stages of this game, as Nimitz the one doing the job offensively.
Oh! at the 23 and walloped at that point, taking the hard hit Deontra Board. So possession number 2 upcoming for Grand Prairie, trailing 7-0. Nice downfield coverage on that short
from the
kick.
End zone. Whoa, gotcha. Not a horse collar. Just grabbed him high and threw him down.
Gophers last week, despite scoring the 30 points, they punted 7 times. Ball control consistency was a little bit of a problem, especially in the second half last week. Toss to the near side. This is Smith. Smith is submarined at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a half a yard. Lost the headgear, and Smith will have to come out. It was he and Harrison last year, the 1-2 punch. Jalen Harrison that combined for close to 1,500 yards on the ground.
Now, the thing about Smith, you know, he's a threat both running and catching the ball. He's averaging about 114 yards a game rushing and 40 yards a game receiving, and he scored 3 touchdowns for the Gophers. But, you know, you've got to have more than one weapon. Our defensive unit can really just key in on that one player, and that's what the Vikings have done thus far.
Elijah Garrett, the receiver, in tight to the left, crossing the line. Did they get back in time? Motion, and the penalty marker dropped on the umpire. Standing at about the 35-yard line. It'll cost the Gophers 5. It'll back them up.
You see that a lot, John. Sometimes these young players try to draw someone off sides and they get some movement, but there's no contact, and they're like, all right, what do we do now?
2nd and 14 as they scrimmage from the 23, and again crossing the neutral zone, and who drew whom off sides. Motion, procedure, and back-to-back 5-yard penalties assessed to the Gophers.
I think this is something both coaches coming in have talked about, trying to clean up their mess a little bit, and that's the mistakes they make with the penalties.
They need to get to the 37. 2nd and long, loading up Salas over the middle, and about too tall in double coverage, and a late flag trying to get it to Michael Green, number 14.
That's going to be against the Vikings, John. Held him up, wouldn't let him get in the open space, and when you get 2 flags, when you get 1 flag, you're like, really? And you get 2, you're like, oh, yeah.
You dread the 2nd flag. That was Armada, our referee.
15-yard penalty. Result of the foul is a first down.
So they step it off. It'll be placed at the 33. And a fresh set of downs.
First down 10 at the 33.
You know, the Gophers get a first down because of the penalty, their first of the ball game.
Julian Salas again from the gun. High snap. Straight ahead, and Smith. High load behind the line. Trying to run behind number 54, Austin Cooper, the offensive right tackle.
Castillo, second time tonight, he's plugged that middle. He plays the middle, 6'3", 213 pounds. And I think here in the early go, John, in the first quarter, the Vikings have done a good job on the interior line, controlling the line of scrimmage.
There's a look at Devin Reynolds, number 67. It's a loss of 3, 2nd and 13 from the 30. Ball equal distance from the hash marks. Salas looking, chased, will run, 35, slides down to the 37-yard line. Early hounded by Kennedy, number 3, the safety.
Salas on the keeper for 6 yards. Nicholas.
So he goes down at the 36.
On the stop.
3rd and 7.
At the 36.
7-0 Nimitz on top. Vikings last year as Grand Prairie overall 1-9. Salas throws, caught at the 40. It's a first down, and coming back and tossed out of bounds rather rudely by Caden Holder. So a 1st and 10 despite those 2 consecutive 5-yard penalties. Grand Prairie trying to gouge out some daylight here at the 45. Got this lone receiver out to the right. Michael Green, who has been in that spot for the last 5 snaps. Green to the right. Salas will hand off to Smith. Smith bulldozes his way across the 45, is arrested at the 47.
Smith has had a tough go here in the first quarter, John. He's like, one play he'll lose 2, the next he'll gain 3. Then he'll lose a couple, then he'll gain a couple. Nimitz has done a good job controlling him so far in the game.
Drive started at the 27. A scrimmage at the 47. Trips to the top. Motion, no flag. Smith trying to bounce it to the outside and is well trapped by Jaylene White. White and also Kennedy.
See, now here's Smith's turn to go backwards. Or maybe at the line of scrimmage at the most. Dive left, watch White, block off, just break a block. Mad at himself, I don't know why he was there. I see a little bit more size, it seems, on this Nimitz defense this year. You know, they've got that freshman that's 300 pounds, number 99. He is by far the anchor of that defense.
One of 2 freshmen on the varsity roster. 3rd and a dime. Salas empties the backfield. Deep ball over the middle and caught and dropped, and taking a hard hit in the process is receiver throwing into double coverage.
Brandon Wheeler, number 7, lowered the boom. That could have been a big completion to Elijah Garrett, number 0. Right here, looks like he's got it. No, he doesn't. Wheeler timed the hit perfectly to break up the play.
Senior covering junior. 4th and 10, and the Gophers will have to punt it away.
Punting, Roberto Alvarez. Got a story about him in Sports Illustrated, nominating him as one of the top 20 or so kickers in Texas, trying to get a vote out there who they think is the best kicker, and he's got a tough one to handle.
End over end, hits at the 20, takes a nice fortuitous Gopher roll, and pinning back the Vikings about the best they could. Yeah, he was bombing some 50 and 55-yard punts in the air in pregame warm-ups.
So you're telling me it's a legit nomination, huh?
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, sometimes you wonder how a major publication like that can come up with a list of candidates who they feel like maybe some of the best kickers in the state. You think, you know, now if it was Texas football, you'd say, okay, these guys are on top of things. But when you think of someone like Sports Illustrated, you're like, how can they be in touch, you know, with the Texas game? There's got to be a
small network. There has to be a network of guys that just focus on every position available.
I guess so.
So
maybe they talk to college coaches and see who they're recruiting.
And the Vikings deep in their own territory. They swing it out to the left. It's broken up. And is it live? Got to be an incomplete pass. Didn't have it long enough.
Incomplete.
It'll be 2nd and 10.
That's the first pass attempt for the Vikings. And unlike that first time where they took over at the 18 of Grand Prairie, this is almost a complete opposite, being with the goal line behind them this time. Now, you know, you'd think maybe they'll be a little more conservative because of that, but hey, kudos to them trying to open it up.
From their own 13, Contreras in the backfield with Valencia. In motion, Hernandez. Valencia to the 20. Nice gain of 7. Gouging out a little breathing room.
Not bad, just following the right side of Mendieta, the center, and Jonathan Hall, the right guard. Both of those players good size. The center's 273, the right guard 281.
They'll need 3 here on 3rd down, 4:24 to go in the opening stanza.
You know, it's no denying that the Vikings have had a, rough go the last few years. Probably not a lot of times, John, you looked at the scoreboard and they're on top at one point in time.
Hernandez, here's a flag drop, rushing in.
The offense, 5-yard penalty. Still
So
third
procedure
down.
on Nimitz as they draw their first flag. Back them up 5. Third and needing 8.
John, we got Ziegler in there. If I see the number correct, it's number 10, not 18, who's in at quarterback.
Ziegler is a senior. And Ziegler will throw. Hernandez had it off his fingertips and almost picked off by Jason Piera. So they start at the 13. They'll have to punt it away as Ziegler came in relief for Valencia. And here comes a punt team on their second possession.
Unless the Gophers commit a penalty, the change of possession should be to their advantage field position-wise.
Deontay Board back deep for Grand Prairie. Ooh. And boy, off the side of the foot, and this, Rob, may be marked off inside the 20. Diaz didn't get any of it.
That was an understatement on the field position advantage, wasn't it?
Oh, no. You flip the field in the worst possible way for Nimitz. But that angle is going to be marked off. That was a sideways spinning top. And they mark it off. Well, they're going to place it at the 31. It's a huge break for Nimitz. Looks like it went out of bounds way before that downfield, about 10 or 15 yards.
Yeah, he shanked it for sure. Now the Viking defense will have to rise to the occasion. I keep waiting, you know, they a couple of times now tried to go deep, throwing it to the wideouts, one of their speedier guys, and nobody's connected. And now we got Smith at the quarterback spot.
Harrison now in the backfield. Salas will turn. He'll keep it. He's got 5. And racing to the 20. They're going to mark him out. He's got 14 yards on that scamper.
Well, there's one way to exploit a defense and just let Smith take it from the get-go, right?
First down run of close to 14 yards. Spotted at the 17. Braylon Smith caught a 70-yard touchdown pass last week.
Don't know if Peyton Rice is now in at quarterback. Now they got another quarterback. You see number 15 to your right.
Well, that's Peyton Rees, a junior. Rees loading up, fires towards the end zone, caught, touchdown, Grand Prairie. What a throw and what a catch by Garrett.
My goodness. 18-yarder to Garrett. At first, I thought the quarterback waited just a hair too long to throw that football. But Garrett was there, out-jumped the defender for the touchdown. And Garrett, who has now 3 touchdowns this year, averages 26 yards a game, John, and you can see why. They just want to get it up there and let him work his magic in space.
Caught one from 30 last week, hauls in this one from 18 yards out. And the Gophers within a point, tying this one up. Roberto Alvarez, a senior, on the PAT. It is up. It is true and through, and the Gophers have tied it up with 2:51 to go in the first quarter.
Well, Coach Tadamy went to like 3 different guys back there at quarterback at one point in time. You see him there jumping high and long, and Jackson could not make the play defensively. Again, look how high he had to go to come down with that catch. And, you know, you've got a great athlete there on the edge. Why not put him to good use? And He did it right there to tie this ball game up at 7 at the 2:51 mark. That was what, like a 2-play drive that started at Nimitz's 31. So both teams have scored on short drives, John. But the creativity that time of the Gophers, just using different people, different personnel offensively in different, whether it was the Wildcat with Smith, and then they bring in the backup quarterback, and they're on the scoreboard. You know, the Gophers haven't had trouble scoring per se. Lost to Naaman Forest 21-14. They scored 14 there, and we touched upon earlier against Keller Central. They put up 30 on the board there. So, you know, they're averaging about 20 points or so a ball game. So we just knew sooner or later they were going to strike gold, and they did it there here in the first quarter.
Tony Tadamy and his squad have tied it up with such a nice pass. You're right. You give one of your best athletes a chance to make the catch, and he does. High enough. Give him a chance to cash in on it. So here's Alvarez. Two-step approach. And caught at the 20-yard line. That's number 3 on the return. Nicholas Kennedy finds a seam, and Kennedy headbutted down close to the 45.
Well, the kicker had to make the stop, and he took a helmet right in the midsection to keep that one from going all the way. There it is. He takes it on the wing, waits for his blockers, and he gets a little gap, and watch him lower the head, and the kicker's like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this.
Two places can't occupy the same space at the same time. Is that the old science rule? Some's got to give, and it didn't. From the 49, possession number 3 for Irving Nimitz. We're tied at 7. Here's the keeper. 45. And Ziegler tripped up, or not Ziegler, that's Valencia back in there.
And maybe that was him last time, but it looked like a 10 and not an 18 from this angle.
Give him 7 yards. So back in there, the senior quarterback at 5'10 and 163. He's got to send a receiver wide left and right. And Caden Holder is the receiver to the right. Hernandez is the move man. Handoff, and Contreras is dragged down at the 43-yard line.
You know, John, we pretty much highlighted Hernandez here early in the ball game, how swift of foot he is and how elusive he is, but we're still waiting for that first throw in his direction. As you take a look at the leading tackler for the Gophers, number 10, Rodriguez, the senior. You like that gopher on the side of their helmet? You like that look?
Yeah, kind of a throwback. 3rd and needing 2. First and 10 into the secondary. 30-25 inside the 20 and close to the 15. Andrew Valencia found a crease. Will gain great first down yardage.
Man, what a play. Right side. It's like one of those old-fashioned options where you fake up the middle and then you take the edge. Watch, he fakes there. Everyone goes inside. He goes out in the cut that he made 3 yards down the line. That's what opened up the gap for him to get a first down, and it's like only their second first down of the ball game.
Coaches love the quarterbacks that can extend the play, and he just did that. Over the right side and not much low cut. Contreras goes down quick. Getting underneath is Rodriguez. Their star tackler from last year, had over 100 tackles and 12 sacks.
Yeah, you need to run away from number 10.
Also had 2 interceptions last year, 112 total tackles. No gain, 2nd and 10 with under a minute to go in the first quarter. Hernandez and 2 others in tight to the left. Here's the handoff, a little cross buck. The old cross buck, Contreras. Inside the 15, they'll give him the 14-yard line. may or may not get this play off. Vikings facing a third and close to 6.
And what he did, tackle. Ball's on the 14. It's 3rd and 6.
Out over the ball, Jesus Mendieta, the center. Three seconds, 2 seconds. They will not get it off, and our first quarter has come to a close. We're knotted up at 7. Our ICTN season opening game of the week. Nimitz 7, Grand Prairie 7. Homecoming night, mid-September, tied at 7. Nimitz facing a third and needing 6. And high load going nowhere. Contreras goes down hard, and a marker drops as well.
Legal procedure called against the Vikings. This is one of those things that Coach Small said that, they really wanted to improve on. And, you have a lot of coaches, they gauge week 1 to week 2. You expect week 1, no coach knows what's going to happen in week 1. So you hope that week 2 is an improvement. He felt like they didn't do too bad in week 1, but week 2 might have been a step back. So he was really hoping for better things. And I think so far, the grade in the first quarter is pretty good for these guys.
It'll cost them 5. Third and long, ball loose. It's still loose, and who has it, trying to pull it away from each other's hands. Looked like Gophers may have got to it first, but maybe reeled in by Valencia himself.
Yeah, or Holder. Thought number 8 might have come up with it. Now the Vikings are pointing toward the Gophers a little bit. Was there something after the play? Because they seem to be pretty excited, and the officials are huddling down below. This would be a good time to talk about the officials tonight at the game. Our referee tonight is Eliza Mata. The umpire is Matthew Taylor. Headline judge Scott Pritchard. Line judge John Krennick. Back judge Sean Griffin. Field judge T.J. Coleman. And the side judge is Cantrell Gatson.
You talked about your biggest improvement usually comes between week 1 and week 2. There's a coach here in the booth that you know well, Mr. Woolman, Gary Bartell, former Grand Prairie head football coach. He'll tell you the same thing. Your biggest improvement comes during those 2 weeks.
After this is to the goal, automatic, first down Nimitz.
So the Vikings get a first down after the penalty. Unsportsmanlike conduct. They say roll the clock, Wally. And here we go.
Evan Miles wide to the left, and Contreras knocked down behind the line. That was Joseph Seals getting in there first.
This drive over 3 minutes so far. A little sloppy somewhat, and boy, there's the superstar. I call him that. Xavier Rodriguez. This number 10's like in every play, John.
Blue and white against blue and white tonight. Old school colors, a little darker blue. Dawned by Nimitz to the end zone. Crossing pattern caught. Touchdown. From 13 yards out. You know, we were told earlier tonight that Evan Miles will wear number 5. He originally started the year wearing number 1. So Miles on the receiving end.
6'1", 162. Used the body frame to his advantage. Might have hooked that one. Oh, he made it anyway.
So put 7 more on the board. Just underway.
Watch again, just a crossing pattern. Almost reminded me a little bit of the Gopher touchdown, except this one was more of a slant drilled right in by Valencia, hitting Miles on a post pattern, and Miles said, I got it. And the Vikings are back on top by a score of 14-7. That drive started on their own 45-yard line. It ate up about, 3-4 minutes of play, 9-play drive. And so far tonight for the Vikings, it's been touchdown, punt, touchdown. So I guess that means they're going to punt next time if you go
if it goes
in that direction.
So Nimitz back on top. Led 7-0. We're tied at 7, and now 7 more on the board.
Remember, John, this is the same team that was held to 13 yards passing against Sam Houston State.
You know, they had 5 first downs in the game. It's a spinner and caught, dropped to a knee at the 9. They're going to let him go. That's Braylon Smith. Goes cross country, 25, and Smith out of bounds at the 30. Ran about 45 yards on that return. I thought his knee may have hit the turf, but they let it go.
And let's correct that, Sam Houston High School, not Hampton, Sam Houston State.
The Texans,
Yes.
not the Bearcats.
Well, let's see what the Gophers have in store offensively. If they go back to the starting routine of Salas at quarterback. Well, looks like I see Rice 15 in there, so looks like he's going to be there to stay for a while.
Peyton Reeves back in there, number 15. They scrimmage from the 30. A lot of open field to the right. 4-yard pickup. Locked down by Jean Price. Got underneath, upset the timing.
Been a tough night for Smith. 7 carries to get 18 yards total.
Second
The
down.
Vikings doing their job.
And needing 6. That's Braylon Smith in motion. Peyton Reese going down the rail, left side, up, 50-50 ball, and coming down with it is number 0, Elijah Garrett. Could have been picked off, could have been knocked down, but Garrett stayed with it, made the catch.
That's why he's averaging 26 yards a game, isn't it?
Numbers don't lie.
They don't. Just throw it in his direction and make him get it. And he's doing a good job of that.
Oh, spotted at the 37. They've already gone 33 yards on this drive. Hard count. Reese trying to draw somebody off sides. Here's a toss to the right. Coming right, Smith, and tripped up at the 41.
You know, it's pretty much what's been going on for Smith. Take a little, lose a little. Take a little, lose a little. This is the lose a little. Linebackers came in, met the charge very nicely as he drops 2.
Bundy Hill underneath at the 39, 2nd And it doesn't. 2nd and 12. Reese takes a high snap. Will throw out to the left flat. It is caught at the 35. Garrett taking a hit from Castillo up high, but able to move it forward. Close to 5 yards on the pickup. Number 0 on number 0. Castillo, the linebacker. Garrett, the receiver.
You know, the backup quarterback, he's 3 for 3, John.
Yeah, perfect.
Trying to look on that far sideline to see if the starter is injured or not. I don't see him without his helmet, so this must have been a time to make a change, I guess.
3rd and 6. Play action. Reese over the middle. Sees a receiver up, and at the 15 coming down with it, number 14, Michael Green. Climbed the ladder and able to hold on to it. Oh, whatever combination they've started to use tonight, Rob, has worked out perfect.
These guys are incredible. Now, we talked about Garrett averaging 26 yards a catch. Green is like 39 yards for a game. Look how high that is. That's just incredible.
Junior to junior.
I mean, you can't, unless you can jump as tall as the receiver, you're not going to defend that.
Went airborne and got burned on re-entry. Stacked up behind the line and a loss of about 3. That was Smith.
It's a loss. Back to the 19. 2nd down, 14.
Another nice play by Jalen White, number 4. I think the Vikings are doing a good job stopping the run. It's just they're not able to get enough penetration to put pressure on the quarterback.
Gophers opened up the year with a loss to Naaman Forest, 21-14. 2nd and 14. Ball at the 19-yard line. Hand off over the left side, 15 inside the 10 and skating to about the 8-yard line. He's still in bounds and still moving forward. Braylon Smith would not go down, and it's 1st and goal.
That is by far his longest run of the night of about 15 yards. Just as we bragged on the Vikings keeping Smith in check, he breaks free with one.
Cameron McGee, number 6, in as a running back on 1st and goal. And hold everything. Somebody jumped.
Vikings were wanting a timeout.
Or
big
did
time.
they call time?
Yeah, Smalls is doing a 40-yard dash from about his own 35, trying to get the officials' attention. You know, some officials will not recognize an assistant trying to call a timeout. And that's what was happening there. One of the assistants was trying to call time, and it took the head coach to get down there to finally get the attention of the official.
Ball at the 5-yard line. Gophers have it 1st and goal, but the athleticism tonight from Garrett and Michael Green, well worth the price of admission. Gary Bartell said, yeah, you know, they scored a lot of points. They played a pretty close game with Keller Central last week, losing 42-30, but just couldn't put together a 4th quarter sustained drive.
Correct. They were only down by 5, 35-30, after 3 quarters in that game.
I stand corrected, which wouldn't be the first time. Michael Green, wide right, one-on-one coverage.
A little confusion
Yeah,
by Grand Prairie.
Still not quite in sync. Got an offensive lineman coming on. Braylon Smith will take the snap. Heading to the corner. And looks like he got in. Braylon Smith from 5 yards out. Almost virtually untouched.
Down the edge, didn't he? So the Gophers able to answer the call. This is a fun game, John, for the first half.
Man, to within a point now of tying it up at 14. The extra point attempt is up, and it just sneaks through the right upright.
Boy, they salvaged that extra point, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Smith, far sideline. No one touched him till Holder got him, but by that time he's already across the line. Just a sweep left, body on body inside that, but then Holder tried to get him inside the one. By that time, Smith was over the chalk and gets the touchdown for Grand Prairie High School. That is the 4th touchdown of the season for Braylon. And the Gophers score one this time by running the football. The others was throwing, but that whole drive, that was a 9-play drive. It started at their own 30, ate up about 5 minutes on the drive.
They've gone 30 in that drive from 70 yards out.
And a couple of nifty catches, John. It was the receivers that were the playmakers for Grand Prairie High. You've got two guys, kind of a really good 1-2 punch for the Gophers, and that is Michael Green, 14, and Elijah Garrett, number 0. Those are the two players that can go vertical.
Evan Miles and Christopher Hernandez awaiting the Grand Prairie kickoff. Number 21, Roberto Alvarez, set to boot it away. And this is Hernandez at the goal line. 10, 15, straight up the gut, 20, 25, breaks a tackle and has yardage across the 30.
First time that we've called Hernandez's name. There is Coach Tatamy. Do you know that this young man, we talked before the ball game, that he coached at TCU, was a linebackers coach for Gary Patterson, coached for about 7 or 8 seasons for Grand Prairie. For TCU from 05 to 2012. I asked him, I said, well, where have you coached? He goes, where haven't I coached? He was at Henderson State up there in Arkansas. Kind of got his start, was a defensive coordinator there. We talked about probably the last D1 player the Gophers have had, and that's Savion Red. Highly recruited out of Grand Prairie. He was a quarterback for him, kind of an all-around guy. He was going to go to SMU, and then, of course, switched coaches. The coach decided to go to TCU, so Red followed him. That lasted about a year, and he goes to Texas. Played last year in a couple of games, scored, I think, a touchdown once. And, if you're a quarterback, I don't know if you heard about this, John, but Horn's got a pretty good quarterback, 1 or 2 out there, so he wasn't going to go anywhere. And so now he's in Nevada. Saw him play against SMU to kick off their season. Got in on a few plays. That's this kind of stuff you just don't hear about. You hear about some of the D1 studs that come out there and they make a name for himself. But for that one really superstar, there's a half dozen or more guys just trying to find a perfect fit to where they can play, more than just one game a season.
Penalty assessed on the kickoff return. They'll spot it at the 36.
Sporting the beard this year, Coach Small is, Vikings head coach.
So a penalty after Hernandez went down at the 32. It's now at the 36. Across the 40 to the 41, gain of about 5.
Evan Miles.
Yeah, Savion Red, he was kind of a wing back / running back for UT, and then got caught up in the numbers game. And
Second and 5.
Now has a home at Nevada. Miles gaining a quick 5. Valencia back in at the QB spot, or he's there. Let's see if Miles still takes the snaps. Holder.
Valencia's split out as a wide receiver.
2nd and 5 at the 41. It's a keeper. Miles breaks a tackle, almost twisted down at the 42 and runs out of bounds at the 43. First down yardage on the scamper as Miles almost bottled up, able to get to the outside.
18 yards on that play, and hey, credit Valencia. He's going to make a nice block. Right, coming up, right there. You see him come into the screen. Sprung the running back for an extra 5 or 6 yards there.
Austin Garrison, number 17, comes out on 1st and 10. Valencia now calling the signals. They'll send Hernandez and Miles wide to the near side. As Valencia back in at quarterback, Andrew Valencia. That's Hernandez in motion. He'll turn, he'll hand it off. This is Woolfolk. Javon stacked up at the 35, still moving forward and has yardage to the 32 and a first down.
Another 12-yard run for Woolfolk, and he got a nice lead block, and that was a nicely designed play where you run where they're not at, basically, because when he got the edge there, he just had to have one kick-out block, and what you got, and next thing you know, he reels off 12 yards.
So he'll come out. Scored the game's first touchdown in the opening quarter. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Sideline right, open field left. From the 32 on 1st and 10. Valencia triple teamed, took a hard hit and gains nothing.
He ran into a brick wall there, didn't he?
Leading the surge, it looked like Puente among 2 others, number 2.
Yep, there's Puente and also McGee, number 6. The linebacking core.
No gain. 2nd and 10. Miles and Hernandez to the left. Hernandez, the inside receiver. Now he'll take off as the move man on 2nd and 10. Inside the 30, sliding to the 27. Is Contreras. Gonna need about 5 here on 3rd down.
You know, John, it's not like they're bogged down offensively. You know, just reading the paper, looking at their stats coming into tonight's game, I was thinking, man, the offenses must be lethargic. They're not getting anywhere, but they match up against the Gophers really well, and they're able to move the football. I mean, you know, you're getting forward progress. It's just execution.
Both teams moving the ball pretty well here in the first half. From the gun, Valencia. Again, that's Hernandez in motion. Takes a high snap, and it's a busted play, and then some movement. And a procedure. Movement. It'll cost Nimitz 5.
5-yard penalty.
They can almost
Still
close
third
to
down.
10 yards now here on 3rd down.
That's their 4th penalty here in the first half.
$33 seniors, 4 juniors, 3 sophomores, and 2 freshmen this year for head coach Anthony Small in year number 3. They need 10 from the 32 on 3rd down.
What do you call, John? What do you call?
How about a little screen pass to the near side?
Do they run screens anymore?
Get some blocking for Hernandez maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Number 54 moving first. That's Joel Garcia.
Number 51 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Garcia was injured in the first game of the year at Arlington Sam Houston. Now back in there on the line. 5'8" and 217, a senior.
Yeah, Aaron Alcala replaced him during the process. Now Aaron's a sophomore, and John, he is 6'4", 308. But you go with the experience.
Well, the offensive line, way about 280. It's a decent offensive line here at Nimitz this year.
Yes, indeed.
3rd and 15. Miles couldn't get to the edge. Shoved out of bounds
Evan Miles.
at the 35.
I can't resist it, John. He had miles to go. Sorry.
14 at the 36.
And didn't go to sleep. I got miles to go. He's a speed merchant. Valencia back in, number 18. 4th and 14, the ball at the 36.
I bet they call time.
Yeah,
There's
we got
a few seconds on the play clock.
clock moving inside of 40. And there's the stoppage with 37 seconds left on this homecoming night, half number 1. Next week we have an off week next week. 2 weeks. We're back here for the MacArthur Nimitz contest. That'll be on the 27th. So a week off and then back here for the MAC Nimitz contest.
All right, here's a look at the district standings after a couple of weeks of ball. Just FYI, you notice MacArthur has played the 3rd game, and they were victorious over Sam. And Pierce, surprisingly, at 2-0. Jesuit tonight plays Highland Park, so that'll be interesting to see how that comes out. But you kind of also get a look at our new district here in 7-6A, and I think it's a very good district for the Irving schools to be in. You couldn't ask, I think, for a better district for them to match up to get a chance to have at least one team make the playoffs.
Big night for the Cardinals last night. It was 14-14 at the half, able to outscore Sam Houston 28-14 the final on Thursday night right here. 4th and 14 and punt formation. It's a high snap and the race is on. Can he get to it? It's picked up and leveled is Diaz. Diaz was really walloped trying to save it on the high snap. A huge loss of about 30 yards. Disaster. Zion Taylor comes up with it, but they turn it over with 27 seconds left in the half.
Man, this is in another zip code. This is in North Grand Prairie. It's at Grand Prairie High they snapped it so much, and the poor punter gets leveled as he's trying to pick up the loose football. He's like, I signed up to kick, but this hitting stuff is for the birds. And don't forget, this is a Gopher team who has the ball to 25, and John, they can throw 20 yards and throw it up in the air to the receiver.
Hit him so hard, soap and water can't wash it off. Man, that hurt. From the 25, 1st and 10, and there's a timeout call before the play. I believe it was.
First charge.
As the Gophers want to get organized here, almost in the red zone at the 25. 27 ticks of the clock left. And a pretty nice first half, 28 total points. Regular
so the
season
Gopher
ends.
schedule, John, coming into tonight's game, with they've already got 2 under their belt. And, we've got Bowie, and then you've got Martin, Haltom, South Grand Prairie, Sam, Arlington, and Arlington Lamar. So it's somehow they snuck Haltom in there this year instead of just the Arlington schools in Grand Prairie.
For some, the regular season ends November the 8th. Going to the end zone and almost hauled in. Couldn't stay with it. Number 14, Michael Green. They try to go deep on the first play, and a player down at the 10-yard line. A Grand Prairie player shaken up. Could be some cramping.
John,
it's not bad outside. It was a tar melting 90 degrees at kickoff, but now it's kind of decent for mid-September.
This is drawn up perfect for Grand Prairie. Look at this. He had about 3 steps on the defender, right over the shoulder, and I think he should have had it. He would love to get that back.
Caught one more difficult.
Yeah.
Earlier tonight.
Woolfolk got caught on that one, as he had a couple of steps on the guy, and you're right, cramps. Did a game last night, as a matter of fact. I was watched the Prosper Walnut Grove against Frisco Emerson. You know, Walnut Grove, this is their first year in existence in 5A Division II. And they had at least a half a dozen stoppages in play for cramps.
James Nobles will leave, number 5.
They're going to send 5 guys out in the secondary, John.
They flood this zone to the right on 2nd and 10 from the 25. Empty backfield. Peyton throws. It is off of the fingertips at the goal line. Intended for Braylon Smith, number 1. It'll be 3rd and 10.
They had the play. They really did. They had their guy. They had the play.
They've had the last 2 plays.
They have. I really believe that Nimitz has been fortunate defensively to stop Grand Prairie.
Peyton Rees back in there, number 15. That's Jalen Geeson, number 4. 3rd and 10. Rees chased, throws off balance, and will bring up 4th down.
You know, after hitting his first 4 in a row, he's missed on his last 3. And here come the Gophers, I believe, to try for 3 points.
Well, this will be a 42-yard field goal attempt, slight angle to the right.
A 42-yard field goal.
From 42 yards out, Roberto Alvarez. Spotted. It is up. It is high enough. It is good from 42 yards out. Roberto Alvarez. And the Gophers capitalize on that Nimitz turnover.
Well, maybe Sports Illustrated's on to something, John.
Yeah. Impressive.
Yes.
Had it with 27 seconds left when that turnover occurred and worked it for 24 seconds and a score. So another seesaw scoring change.
Gophers have had the football 5 times in the first half. This will be Nimitz's 5th time to touch the football. But with just 3 seconds on the clock, I would expect some kind of squib kick. Thank goodness we don't have that new NFL alignment here trickling down to the high school level.
I don't want to see that again.
I get it. You want to stop concussions. Maybe you ought to make it go back to where we did it, but just make them all wear the Guardian helmets. What do you think?
Well, there are changes this year. Some tablets on the sideline and some restrictions for the coaches installed this year. Hernandez standing at the goal line, but he'll never touch it. Roberto Alvarez, it's a squib kick, touched. It's loose, and that's how the first half will come to a close. Or will we have some time? We have a second left, so I'll just go ahead and all zeros. And they do. So all zeros on the clock. The Gophers getting a 42-yard field goal right before the close of the first half, and they take a 3-point lead into the locker room. We've got homecoming activities and highlights and stats and much more here as the Gophers lead Irving Nimitz 17-14.
Hi, I'm Thomas Gandy. On the next City Source, we are on location in Charleston, South Carolina. We'll explain why we're here and also bring you these stories. We celebrate the grand opening of Irving's new Central Fire Station. Check out all that's new and see the elements of history incorporated there. Careers take flight at Envoy Airlines. See how people are learning about the possibilities. Plus coverage of Clear the Shelters. That's starting September 13th at 6 p.m. on ICTN Now, Spectrum Channel 16 and Frontier Channel 30, and at youtube.com/The City of Irving for all of the important local stories and information we bring you on ICTN City Source. Your ICTN team produced 47 videos in the month of August.
This is why I do what I do. To be able to go through all of the documentation, all the paperwork part, and get to the point where the personal connection comes in.
Instead of sticking to our tablets all day, we could come outside and have fun. And we could even wait for the night and wait for it to glow.
Happy birthday! Today is Dogust Day. It is the day that we are celebrating every dog in the shelter's birthday.
Over the last 3 years, the Capital Improvement Program has completed $25.7 million worth of street reconstruction, and another 15 projects are currently in progress.
We're a small family-owned local business. We want to support other family-owned local businesses.
Just letting the community know what resources are out there for them, for us as nonprofits to know what resources are out there so we're able to serve the families who are coming to us for assistance.
Playing music with my buddies, man. You know, that's what we like to do, and tonight we get to do it here in Irving, Texas.
If aviation isn't in your family, you don't even know what it takes to become a pilot or what pilots in training go through.
We know that corporations, when they're looking to come to North Texas, and there's a lot of them, they want to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to handle the traffic, to handle the light rail, the mass transit, that their workers and the citizens demand.
I feel like we've really integrated ourselves into Irving, and so I was just incredibly excited and grateful that we get to be back here.
Stay up to date by subscribing to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The City of Irving.
The Irving Art Center invites you to experience the abstract and mathematical art exhibit, Lane Banks' Geometric Paintings. Banks is a Dallas-based artist who produces work conceptual in origin and geometric in appearance. The exhibit opens September 15th with a reception at 2 p.m. at the Dupree Lobby Gallery. Indulge in the heart and soul of New Orleans through its iconic food, music, arts, and culture. The New Orleans Brass and Culture Fest will include food trucks, vendors, live music, and much more. Come down to Levy Event Plaza to get a true taste of NOLA, September 21st at 11 a.m. Calling all knitting, crochet, and weaving fanatics, the DFW Fiber Fest is back in Irving. The event offers classes by expert fiber instructors and well-curated vendor hall with all your fiber needs. Enjoy a weekend of all things fiber here at the Irving Convention Center, September 20th through the 23rd.
Road to the Future. It's the City of Irving's long-term roadmap, making sure you can get where you want to go. The City of Irving's Traffic and Transportation Department maintains 1,440 lane miles of roads. To put that into perspective, if you left from Irving City Hall, that's the equivalent of maintaining a 2-lane road all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. Yeehaw! To keep you safe, the city has more than 58,000 street signs, 220 traffic signals, 350 pedestrian and school crossings, and nearly 2,700 city-owned streetlights. Irving's road system is estimated to be valued at more than $1.5 billion, and Road to the Future ensures the city continues to invest in its roadways. Over the last 3 years, the Capital Improvement Program has completed $25.7 million worth of street reconstruction, and another 15 projects are currently in progress, worth $110.9 million. This is also year 7 of the city's Summer Overlay Project, as the Traffic and Transportation Department repaves sections of 25 streets across the city. Irving's Road to the Future program, continuing to invest in your transportation.
Hello everyone, I'm Susan Stevens. Be sure to watch Irving Spotlight as we try milkshakes and more in a new Irving Eats. And Alamo Drafthouse Los Cleanas is back. We celebrate their return and learn about exciting new offers during their soft open. So tune in for the September 6th episode on ICTN Now, Spectrum Channel 16, and Frontier Channel 30. And on YouTube at The City of Irving, as we spotlight the city's arts, culture, and entertainment.
This year's gala is Viva Irving Cares. As you know, we've kind of done some of these theme things. So this year we're kind of doing a Viva Fiesta party theme, kind of more of a menu's going to be Latin-based type food that Chef Eduardo's putting together for us. We'll have a silent auction, a live auction, a few little games and things you can play. We're going to have ballet folklore out here. We're going to have a mariachi band here to kind of settle in with the theme. You know, we've always done a wine pool. This year we're going to do a tequila pool. So we're going to have a lot of small batch craft tequilas this year to pull to kind of go along with the theme of Viva Irving Cares. It's a great event to be able to give back to an organization that's really making an impact in the community. It's a lot of fun. It's a chance to see some old friends, meet some new people, just network and mingle and learn more about what Irving Cares does. Our overall goal is to help lift families completely out of poverty with a living wage job. The better our community is, the better we take care of all of our folks. It's a win for everybody, even those that don't need help.
Main Stage and the Irving Arts Center present the Children's Hour. The compelling drama by Lillian Hellman sheds light on loyalty, intolerance, and the power of gossip. The play runs from September 20th through October 5th at the Dupree Theater. Looking for a fun activity to kickstart the fall? Learn how to design a kite. This class combines creativity with outdoor play. Join the other kite flyers in Northwest Park Wednesdays in September and October at 4 p.m. Hispanic Heritage Month is an annual celebration of the history and culture of U.S. Latino and Hispanic communities. Celebrate Fiesta, an event of live music, crafts, snacks, coloring books, and more. Enjoy this family event at the South Irving Library, September 28th at 2:30 p.m.
Hi, I'm Thomas Gandy. On the next City Source, we are on location in Charleston, South Carolina. We'll explain why we're here and also bring you these stories. We celebrate the grand opening of Irving's new Central Fire Station. Check out all that's new and see the elements of history incorporated there. Careers take flight at Envoy Airlines. See how people are learning about the possibilities. Plus coverage of Clear the Shelters. That's starting September 13th at 6 p.m. on ICTN Now, Spectrum Channel 16 and Frontier Channel 30, and at youtube.com/The City of Irving for all of the important local stories and information we bring you on ICTN City Source. Your ICTN team produced 47 videos in the month of August.
This is why I do what I do. To be able to go through all of the documentation, all the paperwork part, and get to the point where the personal connection comes in.
instead of sticking to our tablets all day, we could come outside and have fun. And we could even wait for the night and wait for it to glow.
Happy birthday! Today is August Day. It is the day that we are celebrating every dog in the shelter's birthday.
Over the last 3 years, the Capital Improvement Program has completed $25.7 million worth of street reconstruction, and another 15 projects are currently in progress.
We're a small family-owned local business. We want to support other family-owned local businesses.
Just letting the community know what resources are out there for them, for us as nonprofits to know what resources are out there so we're able to serve the families who are coming to us for assistance.
Playing music with my buddies, man. You know, that's what we like to do, and tonight we get to do it here in Irving, Texas.
If aviation isn't in your family, you don't even know what it takes to become a pilot or what pilots in training go through.
We know that corporations, when they're looking to come to North Texas, and there's a lot of them, they want to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to handle the traffic, to handle the light rail, the mass transit that their workers and the citizens demand.
I feel like we've really integrated ourselves into Irving, and so I was just incredibly excited and grateful that we get to be back here.
Stay up to date by subscribing to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thecityofirving.
The Irving Art Center invites you to experience the abstract and mathematical art exhibit, Lane Banks' Geometric Paintings. Banks is a Dallas-based artist who produces work conceptual in origin and geometric in appearance. The exhibit opens September 15th with a reception at 2 p.m. at the Dupree Lobby Gallery. Indulge in the heart and soul of New Orleans through its iconic food, music, arts, and culture. The New Orleans Brass and Culture Fest will include food trucks, vendors, live music, and much more. Come down to Levy Event Plaza to get a true taste of NOLA, September 21st at 11 a.m. Calling all knitting, crochet, and weaving fanatics, the DFW Fiber Fest is back in Irving. The event offers classes by expert fiber instructors.
It is homecoming 2024 for the Nimitz Vikings, holding on, trying to regain the lead. It's a good ball game in the first half, 17-14 against the Grand Prairie Gophers. And right now we're going to go to the field, and that's where we're going to see the homecoming queen for 2024. Who will it be? Well, they'll introduce the homecoming queen and her court right now. Let's go down to the field.
Pablo Tapia. Our final freshman Prince candidate is Annabelle White. She is being escorted by Principal Trent Nickerson. Next, we will introduce our sophomore homecoming court. Our first sophomore princess candidate is Giselle Albada. She's been escorted by sophomore prince candidate John Camarillo. Our next royal couple is sophomore princess candidate Jada Ayala. She is being escorted by sophomore Prince candidate Kevin Rodriguez. And our final sophomore Princess candidate is Daniela Maloney. Completing our underclassmen homecoming court are our junior royal couples. Our first junior prince candidate is Leah Martinez. She is being escorted by junior prince candidate Yadiel Perez Montoya. Our second princess candidate is Daily Sorto Salmaron. She is being escorted by junior prince candidate Alex Blanco. Our final royal completing under the underclassmen homecoming court is junior princess candidate Leah Rangel and junior prince candidate Baylor Zaypresith. We will now crown our underclassmen royalty. Crowning will take place by Nimitz High School Associate Principal Jeremiah Fincher and South Irving Collegiate and Nimitz Associate Principal Wendy Trammell. Our freshman princess is Annabelle White. Our freshman prince is Nathan Mullenix. Our sophomore princess is Giselle Albada. Our sophomore prince is John Camarillo. Our junior princess is Daily Sorto. And our junior prince is Baylor Zaypresith. Let's give a round of applause for our underclassmen royal couples. We will now introduce the candidates for our senior king and queen. We will be introducing these candidates individually, and they will be escorted by their chosen family or friends. Our first senior princess is Mia Flores. She is being escorted by David Gia. Our first senior prince is Xavier Forcundo. He is being escorted by Aileen Martinez and Ashley Lanires. Next is Senior Princess Juliana Martinez Sanchez. She is being escorted by Stephanie Sanchez and Juan Lopez. Next is Senior Prince Anthony Giron. He is being escorted by Alba Giron and Annabelle Seguith. Our third senior princess is Emily Paredes. She is being escorted by Norma and Abbas Albasari. Our third prince is Alan Guevara Martinez. He is being escorted by Maritza Martinez and Pedro Guevara. Next, our fourth senior princess is Jasmine Perez. She is being escorted by Lily Torres and Anna Haring. Next is Senior Prince Joe Nebahar. He is being escorted by Amanda Guerra and Israel Batris. Our final senior princess is Kimberly Torres. She is being escorted by Elise Guineda and Litzy Torres. Finally, our last senior prince is Jonathan Quijada. Tonight, he's being escorted by Leah Hernandez and Esmeralda Alvarez. And now, the 2024 homecoming queen is Miss Juliana Martinez Sanchez. And now, the 2024 homecoming king is Mr. Xavier Facundo. Let's give a final round of applause for the 2024 Homecoming Court. Royalty King and Queen, congratulations to all the students who were nominated. You may now exit the field.
Juliana Martinez Sanchez, this year's homecoming queen, and Mr. Xavier Facundo, the homecoming king. Hey, they threw us a curveball. They usually have the king announced at the dance, but hey, congratulations to both of those. This is, of course, homecoming. It's also when we talk about the Hall of Fame and those that have been inducted into the Irving Hall of Fame. And this year we've got a couple inductees. And one of those is Jay Bolware, who moved to Irving back in 1986, attended Lamar Middle School, excelled in 2 sports, started off as a freshman at Nimitz High School, was an all-district left tackle, earned a scholarship to play at the University of Texas, was an offensive lineman there. Unfortunately, he had a cardiac arrhythmia tragedy that ended his career, but that didn't stop him from becoming a coach. I mean, he did the circuit. He did what you're supposed to do as coaches. Coached in 7 bowl games, part of that Auburn team that won the 2010 national championship, and he is inducted into the Hall of Fame here. Congratulations to Jay, and being a big part of the Irving family. And then also Wes Pfeiffer, more than 2 decades within the Irving ISD, 30 years as coach in Irving ISD. He was a defensive coordinator for Nimitz from 17 seasons, part of that big Mike Farda regime when they did so well. He was one of the original members of the Irving ISD Hall of Fame Selection Committee. He also presents the Coach Mike Farda Award at Nimitz at the football banquet each year, and served as the Nimitz Football Booster Club president from 2021 to 2022. So congratulations to both of those gentlemen in their induction into the Hall of Fame. We have had some really cool highlights here in the first half of this ball game, and it started with defense. And it was one of the linebackers coming up big for the Nimitz Vikings. You see the pass here, throwing behind the defender, and big old Carlos Castillo. Third play of the ball game, gets the interception, sets up Nimitz at the 18-yard line. It only took them 3 plays to score, and they did so with their running back, Javon Woolfolk, here taking the handoff to the right, sweeping around for the score. The extra point was true, and it was 7-0. The Gophers, though, came right back and tied it, an 18-yard pass to Elijah Garrett. What a heck of a play there, extra point true, and we were tied at 7 apiece. Back come the Vikings, though, kind of an identical play, just a little crossing pattern right there for the touchdown. Nice catch and grab by the Vikings, and they were on top in the ball game, but back come the Gophers, and what a sensational grab. That's just kind of a poster child for what is happening in this first half of the ball game for the Gopher offense. Messiah Ford, 14, going high up in the air to make that grab. That set up the touchdown run by Smith 9 plays later. Tied it at 14 apiece, and then unfortunately Nimitz turns it over with a bad snap from center on a punt, and a field goal gives the Gophers a 3-point lead. You look at the stats, pretty darn even, folks. At first down, Vikings not doing a lot of passing. They just completed 1 pass. 1 turnover in the ball game. That was a Gopher, the interception we showed you that set up the first touchdown for the Vikings. The penalties pretty good too. I mean, probably a couple more than Coach Small would like to see for the Vikings, but 2 for the Gophers and 5 for the Nimitz Vikings. Now, the Vikings play defense first to start this ball game, so they will get the game offensively to start things off here in the second half. The Gophers will kick off. It's a tight ball game for this homecoming game, and John, I think at least for 2 quarters, you couldn't have asked for a better game.
3 lead changes, acrobatic catches, nice ground game. As you said, the total yards not that far off. Roberto Alvarez will kick off for the Gophers to begin half number 2. There's number 3, middle deep. That's Nicholas Kennedy, also Hernandez back deep. And caught at the 20. This is number 7 on the return, Brandon Wheeler, and Wheeler stacked up close to the 30. First man downfield, Jaden Waits. So 1st and 10 Nimitz as we start the second half. Again, we'll be back here in 2 weeks for the MacArthur-Nimitz contest. Homecoming that night for Mac. All spotted at the 29. Andrew Valencia and others who started the game will start the second half. From the 29, it's a sweep. This is Woolfolk, Javon Woolfolk, first down and more, close to midfield. Scored the game's first touchdown tonight, 12-yard run to give Nimitz an early 7-0 lead.
You know, John, that almost looked kind of like the same call they had for the touchdown. And he goes right, it's kind of that right sweep, and, you know, he goes to the next level before the secondary knocks him down.
A nice 17-yard pickup on 1st and 10. Hernandez now joined by Evan Miles wide to the near side. Over the right side and twisted down At the 48-yard line, Darian Contreras sent a penalty marker down as well.
10-yard penalty from previous spot. Replay, first down.
So it'll cost Nimitz yardage. It'll back him up inside the 40. It'll be placed at the 36.
Well, one of the former stalwarts for the Gophers, Gary Bartell here. I noticed you went over and had a chat with Gary before the ball game. Part of rich Grand Prairie history, being a part of those great teams back in the 60s.
Holding call, 1st and 20. Contreras looking for an avenue, and the door closed at the 41. Yeah, Gary Bartell ended his college coaching career at UT Arlington in 1985, then went to Ruston at Louisiana Tech for a number of years. Coached with Bud Elliott at UTA from the 41, a gain of 5, 2nd and 15. Contreras bottled up. Pile moves forward a couple of yards, but well diagnosed by the Grand Prairie defense.
What do you think? Conservative call there on 2nd down and long? The other question I have is that how do you coach defensively the great leapers the Gophers have, for your secondary?
Well, you bring in that ladder from the fire truck and you place about 4 of them on the 40-yard line and
step on their feet so they can't jump?
Yeah, that height. Stoppage of play time called.
A little confusion being relayed down from the offensive coordinator. I wonder how much longer it will be. I know that's not cost effective, but before the high school kids get the communication devices in their helmets from
One
the
for
coaches
the
on the
quarterback and one
sideline.
for the defensive signal caller, usually the linebacker.
John, do you notice on the back of the helmets, look at there, the anchors away on the Nimitz. Love the color this year, kind of that matte finish in gray with the anchor on the back. Of course, Nimitz after Admiral Nimitz.
It looks very similar what the Naval Academy wore when they played Army about 4 years ago. The Army-Navy game, almost the exact helmets.
Yeah, I like it. Like the look. And man, we're being selfish, but we have suffered through so many jersey combinations where we couldn't pick out a number.
We want clean.
Yeah, clean for the life of us.
Clean and easily recognizable from the 42. On 3rd and close to 15. Pressure and just throwing it up, and on the receiving end, making the catch in the crowd is Woolfolk. Javon Woolfolk, and not much gained. Nice pressure up the middle by the Grand Prairie D. Ball spotted at the 45. It'll be 4th and 11. So a punt situation for the Vikes.
John, there was your screen pass you were asking for earlier.
Yeah, I wanted it. Got it there, but not much yardage.
To be successful at a screen, it's all about timing. It's all about those offensive linemen just, doing a good acting job, like, oh, you beat me, but, setting up that screenplay, and if not, nothing's going to happen.
Deontay Board back deep. But the thing about it, Rob, one person miss and you can gain an extra 15, 20 yards. Here's another high snap. Hits at the 25, goes straight upwards and trickles out of bounds at the 22. So that's where the Grand Prairie Gophers set up shop. First possession of the second half.
Gophers were like every other series. They would score. They changed things up. They pulled their starting quarterback. Went with the backup. He hung in there and stood the pressure quite well. But more importantly, he knew exactly how high to throw the ball so his receivers could climb the ladder and get to it.
Julian Salas and now Peyton Reese. No doubt for the remainder of the contest. The Vikings put an 8-man front, running to the outside and running out of bounds At the 25, Braylon Smith. Caden Holder in the area, as you see the brass section. Some of the brass section for the Viking band. Right below us and to the right. Tenor, alto saxes.
Unofficially, Smith, 12 carries, but just 37 yards.
Big number 99 trying to plug up the middle to Sean Price.
Oh, he's plugging up the middle. A freshman. Look at there. Bring the freshman up.
A gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from the 25. Sideline view. That's how some of the coaches and players see it. And as soon as Reese gets the snap, everybody else moving the other way.
Still second down.
And the Gophers penalized 5 yards. You'll need 12 now. 2nd and a dozen from the 20. Twin receivers at the top. Lone receiver wide to the near side. It's the reverse. And the Vikings have sniffed it out as they are all over Deontay Board. Board almost quarantined and nowhere to go as Lamar, or rather Nimitz trying to stretch it out, and they did.
He ran out of room. He just, look, see how many Nimitz jerseys can you see in the area? Get ready. You've got, look, there's nobody past this line here. And he's got such good speed. If he had more room, he could have turned the corner and really picked up some big yardage. And Nimitz did a good job of spreading out the play and forcing the issue and running him out of bounds.
He loses 5, 3rd and 17 from the 15. Play action, the play over the other side of Reese. They fooled everybody and trying to find a receiver to the far side. Nice play fake carried out by Braylon Smith as Reese kept it and then unloaded at the last. And it'll force a punt.
Maybe these two teams have calmed down a little bit offensively, made their halftime adjustments.
Alvarez in punt formation, standing close to his goal line. So the Vikings have held. Both teams have punted to begin the second half. Alvarez with a skyscraper hits at the 45. It's picked up at the 40 and trying to get to, well, Hernandez stays in bounds and stacked up close to the 45. Christopher Hernandez, a senior, able to haul on to it and take a couple of hard hits.
I have to admit that Alvarez, the kicker, has a pretty kick, a pretty ball. You know how it had the backspin. Nice asset to have a kicker like that.
It's a nice ball for the cameras to follow. There's not much turnover.
No.
You like that tight spiral. Ball placed at the 43. Possession number 2 for Irving Nimitz. There's number 8, Caden Holders, tight end / H-back. Unbalanced line on 1st and 10. Here's a snap, here's a handoff. This is Contreras, and he goes down immediately.
Rodriguez again, leading tackler on this Gopher team. Just 5'9", John, but he does a fine job of using his quickness to his advantage.
Over 100 tackles last year and 12 sacks. Loss of a couple, 2nd and 12, all at the 41. They're going to send Miles and Hernandez to the far side, in tight to the right, the tight end on 2nd and long. Contreras fights off one into the turnstile and crosses a 45 and flattened at that point.
That play has been really good for Contreras and company, going to the right side, running behind Hall and Bravo. Grand Prairie sniffed this one out just a little bit better than they have in the past, but you notice all these plays to where Contreras does well, he's running away from Rodriguez for Grand Prairie High. He lines up on that opposite side.
3rd and 7 from the 46. Contreras into the grinder, gouges out a yard. Taken down at that point among the two. Mendieta, Angel Mendieta, the senior. And the punt team, special team comes on to punt it away for the 2nd consecutive possession. Kind of an early standoff here in the 2nd half. Deontay Board, again back deep for the Gophers. Still not quite ready, and a delay. There's a 5-yard march off.
You notice they changed punters, John.
Yeah, I'll scoot back Hernandez now, punt formation.
Yeah, he punted the play before, but I think after that shank in the first half, they decided to switch out punters. That could be roughing the kicker, and it will be.
It doesn't matter what Board does. He let it roll as Hernandez was hit hard after the punt, and will result in a 1st down for Nimitz.
And it's their running back, Smith. It's going to be called for the roughing.
They almost blocked it, but got more of the punter than the ball.
Foul. Roughing the kicker, number 1 of the defense. Big 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, 1st down.
Vikings get a break, sir. Watch. Gets it off and then gets hit. I mean, he's in midair. That's a helpless position that they like to avoid. I mean, he didn't have to act much, you know.
Didn't have to put on too much, but they've got to get that snap from center down. That's the 3rd consecutive high snap on punt situations. So the penalty yardage carries it across the 50 inside Grand Prairie territory at the 43. Not much. Johnny on the spot, another stop for number 10, Xavier Rodriguez. Almost in the backfield as soon as the ball was snapped.
Contreras has had it rough here in the last few carries, 8. So after 8 carries, he had 21 yards, John. After 13 carries, he's at 26 yards.
Doubled up the yardage, but not at the attempts. And the yardage way out of sync. It's a loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Contreras into the secondary. Contreras fights his way down close to the 30 and a 1st down.
And then look what happens. He motors off 12 yards.
14 yards.
Nice pickup. Avoiding some hard hits. Here's another look at it.
Right up the middle.
1st down.
When that play first started, I was like, oh, what are they doing? They're running again. But then next thing you know, he's at that 2nd level. He's in the secondary.
Darren Contreras, one of 33 seniors on this varsity squad. His quarterback, Andrew Valencia, right there alongside him. Ball at the 30. Here's Valencia. Valencia slices out a couple of yards. 2 hard yards picked up.
Vikings, with the aid of the penalty, keeping this drive alive, have held on to the football for nearly 5 minutes here in the third quarter.
Gain of 2, second down 8. He'll send Evan Miles wide to the right, joined by Christopher Hernandez. 2nd and 8. Contreras knocked down hard, and a nice low tackle applied by number 10. Mr. Rodriguez again.
Well, Coach Smalls wasn't kidding when he told me, look, 2 key players for Grand Prairie. Talked about Smith, the running back, and this man right here, Xavier Rodriguez. If you notice, well, you can't see it on this angle, he usually plays in our direction to the far sideline. Now they moved him, they switched him. Now he's playing linebacker on the weak side.
Caden Holder in tight to the left. He's the tight end. 2 receivers up top. They go that way, and a low ball. Miles unable to haul in. Bring up 3rd down.
Had an old coach I went to high school with that told me the longer a drive takes, the bigger the chances of you making a mistake. And this drive, again, counting the penalty and roughing the kicker, we've already gone 10 plays on this drive, which is a lot, in high school.
And considering it started at the 43, it's not as if they started from the 10 or 15.
Right.
Ball at the 29. It is 4th down. They need 9. Going deep, down the rail, far side, the adjustment made. It is caught. And the adjustment.
Oh.
Hernandez.
They called him out of bounds.
Ushered.
Oh my, John.
What a nice adjustment. What a nice catch, but ran out of room.
That's where the sideline went in the favor of the Gophers this time. Watch Hernandez, like he has another gear. All of a sudden, he just takes off. Look, he just runs right past the guy. Oh, he's out of bounds there 2, 3, 4 times. That was a nice call by the official. He was right on top of it. Was he inbounds when he caught it? He already ran out of bounds. You see the official pointing his hand down at the sideline, and taking off the hat and throwing it down. That usually means, you went out of bounds.
Nice effort anyway by Hernandez. But all for naught from the 29 as Grand Prairie takes over, leading by 3 thanks to the 42-yard field goal by Alvarez. Reese throws, quick out pass caught, 1st down yardage, number 14, Michael Green. Oh, a little late shove. Trying to help up your own guy there. Jalen White. So the Gophers collect a 1st down. At the 41 after all of that. Up the center and thrown down hard. Braylon Smith tossed to the turf.
Nicely done by Jalen White, number 4. Wrapped him up. Kudos to Nimitz for really keying on that running back and keep him in check in the ball game. And he's down to just 35 yards.
Loss of a couple of yards. 2nd down, 12. Ball at the 39 of Grand Prairie. Play action. Reese throws a little out pass caught. Gain of about 4. That's Green on the receiving end. Nice defensive play made by the safety. Not letting him get more than that. Wrapped up nicely.
Since coming in, Reese is 6 out of 10, John. Not to the 100-yard mark. He doesn't throw bullets, but he throws right where his receivers are at to give them the opportunity to make the play.
And he'll be back next year, junior quarterback. He'll start Geeson in motion on 3rd and 7. Pump fake, going deep, left side, and Nobles got turned around. Ball to the other side of Nobles' shoulder. And it'll force a punt for Grand Prairie.
John, unless they return this kick for a touchdown, it looks like we're going to have a goose egg here in the third quarter.
All zeros. It was 7-7 after one. Gophers scored 10 in the second quarter. The Vikings tallied 7.
Play clock down to 25, and the Gophers look a little confused on who should be out there on the special teams.
Just making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. On fourth down. And as soon as Alvarez got the pass from center, here come the laundry flags. 5-yard penalty. I would say the referees are in mid-season form.
I think so.
They'll do it all over again. Hernandez awaiting the punt. Gathers it in at the 27, up the gut 35. Hernandez side steps one, but can't get away from 4 others, is piled up.
Got some action over here at the 45 in the midfield stripe.
2 flags down. Separation, now a 3rd flag. Trying to usher off everybody and prevent any more shoving and movement.
I've noticed a little extracurricular here going on in the last 2 or 3 times they've punted the ball away from the ball. You get the gunners or the guys going down the sides that are, trying to get to the guy that caught the football, and you see it a lot. Oftentimes, most times, away from the play, they just keep blocking even though the play's over. And the next thing you know, tempers flare and they start throwing punches at each other.
They carry out their assignment and maybe a little bit more than that.
This could be one of those on both sides.
Number 17, Nimitz, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, Grand Prairie. Both players will be ejected.
On both sides. As the third quarter has come to a close, ending on a penalty, and we'll head to the fourth quarter. It is 17-14, Grand Prairie on top. Anybody's game, any points will do. 17-14 as we start the fourth quarter. Running play, Evan Miles trying to get to the outside, and Miles stood up by Chavez. Running play on 1st and 10, Miles gaining close to 10.
Sometimes, John, you just got to put your best player back there. Just try to give him some room to do what he can do.
They give him the 10 yards. It's a first down run for Nimitz to start the fourth quarter. 3 lead changes in the first half. Scoreless in the third. Play has been called. Javon Woolfolk close in the backfield. This is Valencia. He'll give it to Woolfolk over the right tackle. And Woolfolk goes down hard at the 46. Gain of about 3 this homecoming night. See what kind of drive the Vikings put together here their third possession. They have punted and the ball going over on downs. 2nd and 7. It's a handoff and not much at all. Not much at all for Javon Woolfolk. A hard yard picked up. That's Kasaku, the junior.
That's the first time we've had him on a play. We kept waiting to see how we were going to pronounce that last name.
Yeah, you
I
do
think
it.
John had it right. Amori Tiwan. That's a good one. Coaches, I asked the coaches, how do you say it? They go, just say Kasaku.
They
That's
just
the
say
first
it's a mouthful.
It is.
We just call him K. Kasaki.
Special K.
On the 45. Rolling out. In trouble. Under duress. Valencia. And just throws it out of bounds. Nice pursuit by the Grand Prairie defense. Able to string it out and force the pressure on Valencia. What it does, it sets up 4th down. They need just over 5, closer to 6 yards as Valencia is given the play. So, Mr. Williman, here we go on 4th down and needing close to 6.
Plenty of time still left in the game. Maybe Coach Smalls believes that his defense can take care of business.
Trailing by 3 and hold everything. Timeout taken by the Vikings.
You see this a lot.
Everyone's on the same page.
You see this a lot, John. The play clock was at 1. I mean, what do, right? The Gophers had an interesting Labor Day weekend time in that time frame. You see the head coach just to the right of your screen, just over 73's shoulder. That's Coach Tatamy. He was telling me, if you didn't hear it in the news, the city of Grand Prairie had a water issue where 2/3 of the city couldn't drink any water. He goes, how do we practice? What do we do about water? Where do we get our water? He goes, in my 30 years of coaching, I've never had that happen to me before. He goes, what do we do? This is all, uncharted waters. No pun intended. There's Coach Small there for Nimitz, and he said, we changed up some practices. We made sure we brought in bottled water, but he goes, and it happened right around Labor Day, so you've got the holiday, to get your kids ready. He says it was a unique time, something a little bit different for him.
Well, they've got 1 timeout now left, and they're going to punt it away, or they're not. This play's never going to happen. Another stoppage. No doubt here on a 5-yard march off. They will punt. Their second punt of the half.
Coach Small's not going to like that, all the penalties tonight. Let's make sure there's not any extracurricular going on after this punt.
Christopher Hernandez will kick to Deontay Board, or try to. As it goes out of bounds on the far side, he kind of rushed it, and it cost him some yardage.
He did. I mean, once again, the snap is an adventure for Nimitz tonight, and another flag.
Oh, this crew will have sore arms in the morning.
Well, the ref's got some guns there, let me tell you. Maybe he's used to throwing that flag. Maybe he works on throwing the flag during the week, but he, weights it down with 10-pound bags. They're all going to take
sort
notes.
this out. A 15-yard penalty.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, Nimitz. Be a 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
That's going to put Grand Prairie at their own 48. So the 15-yard penalty after the punt, and then right in the middle of the field at 48. Great field position for Grand Prairie. Here's a toss, running right is Smith, and cut down at the 50. Third possession for the Gophers. They gain 2, second and 8. They lead 17-14.
Watch Brandon Wheeler, number 7, come in fast to make the hit. Right about the time he gets to the line, it's a few yards past the line. Just a perfect tackle, grabbing him around the ankles just the way you're supposed to do it, and he only gets 2 yards out of the deal.
Peyton Reeves from the gun. He'll hand it off. Here's Braylon Smith. Smith trying to cut to the outside, and Smith tripped up after a pickup of 2. Again, Braylon Smith and Jalen Harrison last year combining for close to 1,500 yards on the ground. We haven't seen Harrison tonight. He's come in for a couple plays, but kind of looked like more of a decoy.
That clock becoming a factor, John. Gophers in no hurry, sticking to the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it again.
Vikings have already used 2 timeouts. Third down. Reese in trouble, evades one, eludes another, and hit hard at the 40, but Robbie's got a first down, slow to get up. Scrambling number 15, picking up the first down.
That was all him, let me tell you. Gophers were in a pickle. First of all, he fumbles a snap, can't find anyone open. Evades a tackle from Simmons, and then cuts the edge and gets hit pretty good right at the line. But he can't be stopped, and he gets the first.
They've got the lead and the ball on 1st and 10 from the 40. Trying to reverse, and Braylon Smith with a nice low tackle loses a couple of yards. Brandon Wheeler, the safety, on the tackle.
Wheeler again kind of edging up that line of scrimmage, pretty much knowing full well the Gophers are probably going to try to get that clock on their side and keep the ball away from Nimitz.
Vikings have got to have a stop here. They trail by 3. From the 42, 2nd and 12. To the near side, caught at the 36. Thrown out of bounds at that point quickly. That's number 14, Michael Green. Another catch tonight for the junior. It's a
4
gain
catches,
of 7,
43 yards.
5.
Clock still rolls. Grand Prairie being methodical. Pretty soon here, I think Nimitz are going to have to take some chances defensively to try to get a stop.
Again from the shotgun, Reese rolls out to his left, loading up, throws across the body, has the receiver, he's got him at the 20-yard line. Nice pass, zeroing in on number 5, James Nobles.
First
they
catch
get the
of the
first
night.
down.
First catch of the night, John. It came at an opportune time, and that just resets the clock for Grand Prairie. Then go back to running the football and trying to ice the clock. Watch again. Had time. Has a man wide open.
They get the first down. They keep the drive alive. Ball spotted at the 19. 5:34 to go. To the ground. Smith runs into Carlos Castillo. Picks up a hard yard and a half. They've got the Vikings on their heels as the Gophers grind it out. Got big penalty. Started at the 48. That's where the Gophers started their drive. Now approaching 5 minutes to go in the game. Second down, 8. No reason to put it up. Here's a toss to the right. Smith reverses. 15, 10, 5. Braylon Smith to the end zone inside the pylon, and the Gophers tack on 6 more. His second touchdown run.
That play was not designed to go that way, John. Nimitz had him all bottled up in the middle. And thanks to a nice little block from his quarterback, Smith able to show you just how fast he can be, and turned it back on the far side and scores.
Scored earlier tonight from 5 yards out. Extra point is up, and it is good. So the lead now at 10 after a scoreless third quarter. Another look at it, Rob, as he cuts it back against the green.
9 plays, 5-minute drive. Smith caps it off with a 17-yard run. And now the Vikings find themselves down by 10 with 4:43 left to go in the ball game. And this was pretty much Smith exploiting Nimitz with the motor. Again, designed to go to the right, wasn't there, countered. And if you noticed on that play, why don't we go ahead and give the kudos to the wide receivers for Grand Prairie High. If you noticed, when he went on that backside, there were white jerseys down there blocking for him and giving him room to go down the sideline and score.
Yeah, they scored a drive of 70 yards in the first half. That's a 52-yard drive. Second touchdown run tonight for Braylon Smith. And a 24-14 Grand Prairie lead.
Took almost an entire second half, John, to get some points on the board.
They have done well when they have it. Roberto Alvarez, the head count, moves a man over to the other side. It's a high spinner, caught on the run at the 21-yard line, 31 off cross to the 40. This is Hernandez. Hernandez shaken down hard at the 43. What a nice 24-yard return.
I feel like, John, compared to last season, Hernandez has more of an opportunity making a play on special teams than he does as a receiver. They haven't really used him much. At one time, they tried to go to him late in the second quarter, where he really was able to exploit his speed and almost make a fantastic catch down the sideline.
Their last 3 possessions, they've started from the 43, the 41, and now the 43 again. Okay, Evan Miles, inside receiver on the near side. 1st and 10 Vikes, trailing by a dime. Pump fake, looking over the middle, deep ball, looking for Smith, and rather Miles, and overthrown. Miles guarded tightly by Joseph Seals, number 16. Trying to go deep on 1st and 10. 4:28 to go.
It's been a rough night for Valencia. 2 out of 8. Biggest throw and catch was a 13-yarder to Miles.
Miles and Hernandez again wide to the near side. Handoff and nothing at all. Number 11, Jason Piera, climbs over the top. Slow to get up here. Got 2 players shaking up. Hernandez, there he is, number 12, back to the huddle.
Reset the play clock.
Loss of a yard. 3rd and 11.
I would have to say, John, at this point in time, it's 4-down territory. I don't think you can punt it away.
Oh, you're in the red zone right now.
Yeah. If you're down by 10, you got to score 2, and so.
From the 42. Miles will keep it, crosses midfield and has a first down. Miles thrown down at the 44-yard line of Grand Prairie.
He does really well in that Wildcat.
Hurry up offense inside of 4 minutes, and Valencia just fires it down, stops the clock.
Watch Miles, fakes it left, goes right. Nice lead block by Brian Martinez.
Back to play here on 2nd and 10. Contreras in the backfield. Here's Valencia. He'll swing it out. The inside screen pass to Hernandez. Hernandez yanked down close to the 40. Keeps the clock moving for Grand Prairie.
Nimitz with only one timeout.
Able to get out of bounds. He stayed in the field of play. 3rd and 7. Deep ball right side and trying to loop it. Got it close to Miles. Valencia just unloads. He got it there, but here's a late flag.
The official is letting the sideline camera people know, not ours, I might add, that they were way too close to the sideline. He was livid. He turned around and it was just, I mean, they're not behind the line where you're supposed to be, the yellow line. They were all like within a yard or so of the sideline.
That's usually the rule of thumb, though.
The thing is, that usually goes against the home team.
Sideline warning against Nimitz.
Yeah. I don't think that's fair for the home team. I mean, what are they supposed to do?
So it'll bring up 4th down. 4th down. Valencia flush from the pocket, scrambles, runs, and trying to get close to the 1st down. He appears to be short, and the ball will go over. So it goes over on downs with just under 3 minutes to go. As that drive stalls and turns it over to the visitors to our west.
John, a little history lesson for you.
I'm ready.
Because we have such a nice facility at the Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium. I mean, this is very nice. I mean, we've been to plenty of high school stadiums. This is one of the top stadiums to be at. But back in 1920s, the first stadium was on the corner of Irving Boulevard and Lee Street, which is right across from Griff's. Look, no lights, no seats, no parking, and the goalposts were made out of wood.
Is that right?
True story.
And the field was 100 yards, right?
It was. I don't know where people park because they didn't have Griff's to park at.
You weren't landlocked.
No.
There's a nice run on 1st and 10. 1st down collected by Braylon Smith. Leather helmets and all that back then. Did they turn on the car lights at night to provide some night football? Line up the cars?
I wasn't there. Like the 20s, when was cars invented? Right about there. No wonder they didn't have lights. Did they have electricity?
From the 46. 1st and 10. Grand Prairie is about to pick up their first win of the year. Smith gains about 6. So the Gophers, having punted 7 times last week, gave up over 400 yards defensively, and the loss to Keller Central will come out a winner tonight. Came in averaging 22 points. And Nimitz will fall to 0-3. Let's see. Nimitz, aside from Mack, that'll be the district opener. Then they'll be at Berkner the first week of October. Gopher scrimmage from midfield. 2nd down and 5. Over the top is Zion Traylor making the tackle, and little loss of yardage, but at this point, of little consequence to Grand Prairie.
just follow up on the light issue, John. I can't let it go. The first time lights were introduced was like in the late 1880s, believe it or not, using oil. So, hey, look at me. I'm making fun of the fact, did they have lights? Well, yeah, they had lights.
They swung the lanterns. They had those lanterns swinging.
Yeah, they did have lanterns. So Nimitz will finish out the pre-district here tonight, going 0-3, and there's what's ahead of them. It's weird, I guess, to see such a early MacArthur and Nimitz matchup, but that happens with the district being rearranged like it is. A couple of Richardson schools. And they got the showdown with Irving before they finish out the year with Lake Highlands, Pierce, and Jesuit. By the way, Lake Highlands has the number 4 rusher in the Metroplex and the number 10 rusher in the Metroplex. They seem to always do well running the football.
Third down, just taking the snap, running straight ahead, and close to a first down. The Gophers will next play at Arlington Bowie. That's their district opener. And they end the year at Arlington Lamar on November the 7th. So they move the chains on the far side. Another first down collected by GP.
Johnny, that should do it, my friend.
Just take the snap and run it all the way down. There it is, as we have the genuflect. Peyton Reeves. One more time ought to do it. Well, it was 17-14 at the half, Rob, and then a scoreless third quarter. You know, you look back to that field goal right before the half by Alvarez. That was huge, giving them a 3-point lead going into the locker room.
It was. It gave them that extra cushion. I mean, because just think if it was a one-possession game, things might have been a little different down the stretch for Nimitz. 2-possession game, you're a little more desperate in what you have to do.
Another drop to a knee by the quarterback, and that will do it as the Grand Prairie Gophers on the road come to Irving and knock off the Nimitz Vikings by a final score of 24-14. Both teams will line up. Nimitz trying to gather their squad, and the Grand Prairie Gophers across the way. A very happy bunch as they collect their first win of the year. 24-14 your final. As we come back on the other side, we'll give you some highlights and stats and wrap things up on this homecoming night on Irving Community Television.
The Irving Art Center invites you to experience the abstract and mathematical art exhibit, Lane Banks' Geometric Paintings. Banks is a Dallas-based artist who produces work conceptual in origin and geometric in appearance. The exhibit opens September 15th with a reception at 2 p.m. at the Dupree Lobby Gallery. Indulge in the heart and soul of New Orleans through its iconic food, music, arts, and culture. The New Orleans Brass and Culture Fest will include food trucks, vendors, live music, and much more. Come down to Levy Event Plaza to get a true taste of NOLA, September 21st at 11 a.m. Calling all knitting, crochet, and weaving fanatics, the DFW Fiber Fest is back in Irving. The event offers classes by expert fiber instructors and well-curated vendor hall with all your fiber needs. Enjoy a weekend of all things fiber here at the Irving Convention Center, September 20th through the 23rd.
Hi, I'm Thomas Gandy. On the next City Source, we are on location in Charleston, South Carolina. We'll explain why we're here and also bring you these stories. We celebrate the grand opening of Irving's new Central Fire Station. Check out all that's new and see the elements of history incorporated there. Careers take flight at Envoy Airlines. See how people are learning about the possibilities. Plus coverage of Clear the Shelters. That's starting September 13th at 6 p.m. on ICTN Now, Spectrum Channel 16 and Frontier Channel 30, and at youtube.com/The City of Irving for all of the important local stories and information we bring you on ICTN City Source. Your ICTN team produced 47 videos in the month of August.
This is why I do what I do. To be able to go through all of the documentation, all the paperwork part, and get to the point where the personal connection comes in.
Hi, I'm Thomas Gandy. On the next City Source, we are on location in Charleston, South Carolina. We'll explain why we're here and also bring you these stories. We celebrate the grand opening of Irving's new Central Fire Station. Check out all that's new and see the elements of history incorporated there. Careers take flight at Envoy Airlines. See how people are learning about the possibilities. Plus coverage of Clear the Shelters. That's starting September 13th at 6 p.m. on ICTN Now, Spectrum Channel 16 and Frontier Channel 30, and at youtube.com/The City of Irving for all of the important local stories and information we bring you on ICTN City Source.
Well, a tough night for the Nimitz Vikings, losing a homecoming matchup against Grand Prairie High School. Not many miles separate these two programs. Grand Prairie to the north and Nimitz to the south, Irving, but they renew some rivalries they've had in the past, and tonight the Gophers came out on top. It was a close ball game, only 17-14 at the half, and in the second half, Nimitz really couldn't get things going. Valencia here trying to hit last year's favorite target, Christopher Hernandez. Great speed, great catch, but he stepped out of bounds. The only really threat that the Vikings had tonight scoring the football. Meanwhile, they really did a good job of containing Smith, but not on this play. Goes against the grain, gets the touchdown, icing on the cake, and the Gophers win this one by 10 points. It was the 5th straight loss going back to last year for Coach Small and company, so a very disappointing night for the Vikings. Final stats, somewhat even, believe it or not, just like it was at halftime. Passing, the Gophers 9 of 17 for 112 yards, pretty balanced, 90 yards on the ground, total at 202. Meanwhile, the Vikings just really couldn't get things going passing. They had a lot of rushing yardage, unfortunately, is like between the 20s. They couldn't punch it in when they could, or they couldn't just get it inside the red zone. No turnovers, though, but the penalties are real killer. 9 penalties for 65 yards. So it's back to the drawing board for the Nimitz Vikings, who you see there with their parents and their fans after the ball game tonight for this homecoming match here at Irving. So, John, it's just same old song. You just got to get something going offensively. They started strong. I was really optimistic about this group. And, I mean, you still got plenty of time to regroup, but they started strong, but they just didn't finish strong.
As the Grand Prairie Gophers in this non-district affair knock off the Nimitz Vikings 24-14. For our entire ICTN production crew, for Rob Willman, this is John Nelson saying good night from Irving, Texas.